Hello, my name is Day 9. After this, I am getting sushi, but we are not at after this yet, are we? No, we're in part 3 of Daily 590, where we learn why TLO is one of the betterest gamers there is. Really simple play, with some somewhat complicated timings and some nuances to it, but still, from a high-level perspective, pretty straightforward. We're seeing the mutalisks contain, we're seeing locusts get, swarm hosts get produced, with the ultra-fast hive, this free 4th base, all thanks to these mutalisks containing. Back home, we see this army from Strelok. Not a good push army. Very fragile, especially with the low tank count. Because again, Strelok has no idea if roaches are coming. Strelok has to account for the fact that roaches could be coming out. Even a lot of Zerglings can crunch this. Zerglings don't fare horrifically against Hellbats if you micro them properly. If you micro them improperly, they do fare horrifically against Hellbats. The distance between terrible and pretty good is just kind of some micro tricks, moving back and forth a little bit like that, and then you can easily surround them. Actually, I made a micro video on that a little while back. Should probably look that one back up. It's probably somewhere on the computer. That was a little bit of fortune that Strelok threw that in there, and a little bit of misfortune that TLO lost quite so many drones to that. Will ordinarily not really be that big of an issue. But either way, we should be viewing these swarm hosts not as kill you tools, but as delay tools. Dude, I love this thing, following it along. Look at that, the 0 of 20 workers thing follows it right along, sweet. So good. Oh, so good. So what's kind of nice about this game, when you couple it with the last game, is we get to see a compare contrast. This is the same strategic setup that TLO did last game, minus drops and overlord speed. Okay, hold on, let me... Uh-oh. Got a text from my roommate. Okay. Hey, Sean, can you let me in? Hey, I'm in. Alright, cool, everything's fine. We can go back to the game. I live in a house of 5, by the way, and my four roomies are like the awesomest humans in the universe. These Zerglings doing this counterattack, this is completely irrelevant, these set of units. We don't need these Zerglings at all. We are looking for any opportunity to do a non-zero amount of damage and then do it. These Zerglings' only real purpose was to help us stay alive early on. So these swarm hosts, again, deal damage, but their goal is not to deal damage, it's to buy time. Because always there's a possibility that our opponent will be able to stay alive. And we see the same general play. Use swarm hosts to delay to get broodlords up. Now, in this circumstance, I actually am a much bigger fan of delaying this by a minute and getting the ventral sacks earlier. Because the strength of swarm hosts is the fact that they keep the Terran pinned back. And then when things like this happen, our lines are broken. Is this not the silliest chase in the world? So remember how I was saying that Hellbats are not really good against swarm hosts because of the range? And there it is. I have shown you it. So cool. We're in literally the seemingly worst possible situation ever. Literally. And here it is. Oh my god. Oh no, he's gonna drop on us. We don't have any locusts. Oh god, we're gonna lose ass swarm host. Ugh. Oh my god, my body is twanging in pain. The vestigial Zerglings showing up. Mutalisks doing a little bit of counter-harass. I don't think it is nearly as fundamental as this swarm host delay into broodlord heyday. But it's absolutely a play that we have to our availability and liking. So now Strelok is kind of in a yucky spot. We're going to see the game go on a little bit longer. Broodlord, Swarm Host, I don't think is the ideal final army composition. It's an excellent intermediate finisher. We can kill him. We might not kill him, but we can. I do not like it nearly as much as focusing more on just basic ground units. Lings, Ultras, Roaches, and lots of expanding, lots of dropping, lots of Nidus worming. Concentrated armies. Oh, by that I mean an army that has to stay in one place is generally going to fall to a mech army that's really good at being in one place. So this is actually a pretty comfortable spot to be in as Strelok. Holy crap, did I ever misstate that? For a mech player does almost always want an army all packed together versus his army all packed together. That's like the ideal. Obviously this is not a good circumstance because he's going to lose his expansion, and that's bad. But in terms of just the basic mech concepts, Strelok he's not thinking like, oh, I'm dead, 100%, totally doomed. Because then these opportunities arise. This is what I was talking about, is the advantage of roaches over swarm hosts. The roach army could just go, oh, we're being attacked, pull back, kill this off, done. But this Broodlord swarm host army cannot. So this is pretty bad news bears for TLO. I do think that as this Greater Spire is coming up, Roach Warren and then Roach Speed is the nice timing to go for. TLO's stuck a little bit between a rock and a hard place here. Does he delay? Does he wait? Good on Strelok for trying to kill workers. Yeah, we love killing workers. I do think it could not have hurt at all to just kill this base off. Although, generally, I'm a bigger fan of killing workers off. I will come back to this army battle a little bit. This is the moment where everyone was freaking out in the WCS. Oh, TLO, he's gonna lose. Oh, he's losing all his bases and all this stuff. The Queen's built early. A nice increase in longevity of these Broodlord's tool. I'm not going to go into that much detail on this army versus that army, other than the fact that with a reasonable percentage of the time, you can still lose this fight as Zerg. Not with these exact numbers, those clearly favor TLO, but it's very easy for the opponent to have not this many tanks and a few extra Thors, and for this fight to either be one that you lose or one that you look at and you're like, ah, I can't really take that. That said, during this middle timing before the mech is really powered up, the Swarm Host, Broodlord, a really nice little play. TLO loses literally everything he has, but that's fine, because he's going to win the game. And yet again, TLO takes another win in WCS in a crazy spot. The Queens are doing some work, man. Doing some serious work. Amazingly, TLO stays alive in the midst of all this, and the good game happens. Boom! Let's take questions. Yeah. I'm really in the mood for some sushi. Take some questions and get some sushi. The name of the song I just played is... Oops. That's not it. Can't remember the name of it. No. absofacto.com. Music. What's the name of this song? It is On a Ladder Leading Nowhere by Absofacto. Alright. Let's take some questions. To recap, fundamentally simple play. Relatively fast Mutalisks to permit us to push him back and mess up his composition. He's going to need to build quite a lot of Thors. And then we can begin going Swarm Host. This will exploit the fact that he is low on tanks and exploit the fact that he does not really have a lot of mobility because he's going mech. We can hit him in a lot of places at once and chip away at him. This permits us time to get Hive up, because then we're going to be going Swarm Host. Broodlord. My mouth wanted to say Guardian. Very bad mouth. Pretty simple play. Very, very strong. Okay. Colonel Army says, Day Night, what sushi do I like the best? I like a good old Philadelphia roll. That would be salmon, cream cheese, and avocado. So, to emphasize, Noman Brain says, while watching these games, it seemed like TLO knew that Strelok was going mech. Not necessarily. There were some very important telltale signs that went on. First of all, I'm actually going to pull back to here, to 6 minutes. It's not that he knew mech was going on, it's that he was doing a style that had a nice deviation point. It's right at 6 minutes. Look at this composition from TLO, taking this third quite early, spreading the creep out like this. Imagine if Strelok was going Hellion into Bio. We got our Ling speed getting ready to come out versus Hellions. We have this queen and this queen can go to the front lines to help us deal with them. The hatch is already down, so it can take some damage. We basically flood Ling in the case of anything being thrown at us. And we're getting a layer up to be able to deal with those future bio threats like medevac drops with blah, 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 blah. And our third base is going to help. However, it's the next minute and a half that's quite key. Where are the Hellions? Where are the Hellions? Where are the Hellions? Okay, I see one Hellion. We saw Reaper at the start. It's very difficult for him to be going mass bio right now. Where are the Hellions? He should be going some Hellions into bio. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Where the hell are they? Where the hell are they? What is going on? 7 minutes? I'm still not seeing them. I'm still not seeing them. Back home, what have we built? Just drones. No extra Lings. You know, we got a spine crawler, but nothing huge. What the heck's going on? What the hell is going on? Is he going mech? Is he going bio? Is he going mech? Is he going bio? Can I get any information here? Oh my god. This is the signal that we needed. He is going mech. Reactor factory, reactor starport. I know now. And only then do we start to see a shift from TLO away from Ling Mutabane Ling into this Mutalisk style. It's actually quite a late switch around. Virion asked, how do we feel about adding some Vipers to complement the Swarm hosts we have them contained? That doesn't seem that great. I mean, certainly it's a nice combo, you know, like drag him into the Locusts, but I don't think Swarm... that theory of getting the Vipers is kind of based on the statement, I'm trying to kill him with the Swarm Host, but we're not trying to kill him with the Swarm Host. You'll pretty much never kill a meching player with Swarm Host. You'll chip away at him, maybe in the mid-game, right before you get your Hive up, maybe you'll overwhelm him with the Locust, but generally, siege tanks are a little bit too good against killing off the Locusts. So you can't really hope to kill him with that. We're using the Swarm Host to buy time. And if we use it to buy time to get the Vipers up, it sounds like we're just buying more time with the Vipers so we can get what up? Astiaves says, Day 9, if you scout in a Roach Horn, why would you build tanks? Wouldn't a bigger Thor count have helped? It's, roaches are way, way too easy to get in huge numbers. So let me actually paint a picture. Let me paint a picture for you. Suppose for a moment that we're TLO. And we are in a position like this, and we see, wow, there's no tanks. Huh. We can build a Roach Warren, which takes 55 seconds, and begin saving up all our larvae. At the very least, that's 1 inject per hatch. Because, by the way, an inject is 40 seconds to pop off. we'll probably get an extra 2 larvae from each thing. So that's 6, 12, 18, 24 larvae that we will have available 1 minute from now. So if you have no tanks, suddenly you're going to be up against 24 roaches with another round of 24 just being half a minute away. So it's going to be about 50 roaches of larvae that the Zerg can just sort of on a dime be like, oh, you don't seem to have that many tanks. And within 2 minutes have a lot of roaches. That's an extremely small timing window. That's why Terran can't take that risk, is because for one, he could run into a Zerg player who already has roaches and die. But more importantly, too, he can run into a smart Zerg player who will go, oh, I know how to kill you, and then just flood a whole bunch of roaches. So yeah, let's take one more question. Shrike843 kind of has 2 questions in there. He says, on a cramped map, how would one get the advantage with swarm host mobility on the flanks? And 2, if we saw Hellions, it would have been a much different game. So for one, how do we get this advantage of being able to hit from multiple sides? I think a drop play works kind of nicely to where we can do something where we drop right here, do a little bit of damage in this main base, and then we can actually pull back and drop here and sort of hit from this side. And if he's really applying pressure, we can load up and cut down, and we have this huge open space. And then similarly have swarm hosts up here to assault the natural and the third. So that's one of those. The second one was, if we saw Hellions, would it have been a much different game? I think what would have happened in the Hellion circumstance is that TLO would have had to build a couple more lings. He would have had to then identify the mech, but then it would have been basically the same. Because if we actually look here, TLO built a lot of Zerglings that he just does not really need against a meching player. He built a grand total of 55 Zerglings, probably more than that, just to deal with these drops. So imagine if our opponent went Hellion and like harass and then into mech, it would be the same story. We'd have some extra Zerglings, and then we'd get the Mutalisks up, and then we'd go, oh, alright, well you're going mech, you can't really harass me. Take a 4th, swarm host, blah 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 blah. I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna go. Tomorrow we'll be doing more WCS Europe analysis. Friday we'll be doing Portal 2. Monday, give me a replay of you lifting off as Terran at the start of the game and landing somewhere else. Send that to Monday at day9.tv. And then next week we'll be doing analysis of the WCS America round of 16 groups. Thanks for watching! Yeah!